girls. Education is a basic human right that should be exercised fully in all nations. A girl's education is an essential starting point in establishing equality everywhere. Despite the Constitution guaranteeing equality before the law and non-discrimination on the basis of sex remains a patriarchal society. Every girl or woman in the community needs education because it is the first step toward achieving life goals and learning and being educated. And while each of us has the right to attend school, it is a source of contention in some countries. In most countries right now, girls have the right to go to school to balance the equality between boys and girls. They have allowed girls to go to school. An example of this is the country of India, where girls who get a quality education are more likely to be healthier and better prepared to enter and succeed in the workforce. Because according to them, education can give girls more opportunities to advocate for their own rights, contribute to their families and communities, and grow local and global economies. There are schools, but most girls do not attend often because of religious reasons or cultural pressures. An example of this is the country of Saharan Africa. For example, in South Africa, harmful cultural and religious practices, largely informed by unequal gender norms, expose girls and young women to negative health, education, and economic outcomes. The unequal gender norms, which render girls and women unequal in intimate and social relationships, mean that they are unable to negotiate and make decisions about their lives, themselves, and bodies, which negatively affects their chances of completing their education. This is the result of their not attending school. So human rights. It is a moral principles or norms that describe certain standards of human behavior and are regularly protected as legal rights in municipal and international law. And an example of human rights is VAUSI, or Anti-Violence Against Women and Children, which has been primarily meant for the protection of women and children. It cannot be used by men to charge their wives or partners. In short, it is only intended for girls and women. The government or institution sets specific rights for women or girls, such as equal remuneration, protection of mothers, protection of working women, and social and economic protection of women and children. Higher education. There is some disagreement in the definition of higher education. Some define it purely as education that will result in college degree, at least an associate degree. Others believe it is the pursuit of any education at levels where attendance is voluntary. Not all countries have compulsory education equivalent to what a person might get in an American high school. The term higher education can be broadly defined. In most of the Western world, it is viewed as post-secondary school education undertaken on a voluntary basis. Higher education is seldom compulsory. Not everyone needs to go to college or trade school, and few countries make this education mandatory. Secondary completion rates for girls and boys. Secondary completion is computed by dividing the total number of students in last grade of secondary education school minus repeaters in that grade by the total number of children of official completing age. Secondary completion rates are important to measure since the dropout rates are highest in lower secondary grades. Feminization of teaching profession. The term feminization has tended to apply to countries where women are a significant majority in teaching workforce. The debate surrounding women, the teaching profession, and feminization have been wide-ranging and, in some cases, contentious. Feminization, it is a process in which more and more women become involved in an activity where there are traditionally more men. Feminization as a statistical, sociological, and educational exploration. When sociologists and educators refer to feminization, they are referring to labor market tendencies where the participation of women in various occupations increasing. The Working Group of European Trade Union Committee of Education used the term feminization to describe the phenomenon of large-scale entry into the teaching by women. Feminization will be investigated on two levels. First level, the study will be exploring feminization from a purely statistical standpoint, researching countries that currently have high female teacher percentage. The second level of the study will also attempt to examine feminization from a sociology basis, exploring key issues that accompany the statistical trends, including causes, consequences, and implication. Feminism is an interdisciplinary approach to issues of equality based on gender, gender expression, gender identity, sex, and sexuality as understood through social theories and political activisms. Feminism is an awareness of women's oppression and exploitation in society, at the place of work and with the family, and the conscious action to change this situation. Feminism is an awareness of patrician control, exploitation, and oppression of material and ideological levels of women, labor, fertility, and sexuality in the family, at the place of work, and in society in general, and conscious action by women and men to transfer the present situation. Women, teaching and feminization debate within the context of broader gender equality. Just as gender equality in education and women in the teaching profession have strong linkages, so the issue of women, teaching, and feminization debate also have a plan within the broader context of gender equality in society as a whole. The gender equality stipulates outcomes beyond education that include women's role in wage employment and women's representation in political processes.
The gender role vary geographically between more developed countries and less developed countries. In less developed countries, women take on lower roles and lower stand in the social class, while in more developed countries, women have power and can have higher jobs. What do we mean by culture? Culture, we often mean intellectual and creative products including literature, music, drama, and painting. Another use of culture is to describe the beliefs and practices of another society, particularly where these are seen as closely linked with tradition or religion. Culture is part of the fabric of every society, including our own. It shapes the way things are done and our understanding of why they should be so. How is gender related to culture? Gender identities and gender relations are critical aspects of culture because they shape the way daily life is lived in the family, but also in the wider community and the workplace. Gender, like race or ethnicity, function as an organizing principle for society because of the cultural meanings given to being males or females. Our culture and traditions are changing. Society's cultures are not static. They are living entities that are continually being renewed and reshaped. Change is shaped by many factors. Cultural change occurs as communities and households respond to social economic shifts associated with globalization, new technologies, environmental pressures, armed conflict, development projects, and etc. Are development initiatives culturally neutral? So, development is about change. Development initiatives by governments, non-government organizations, or development agencies are investment in promoting social and economic change. Some development initiatives aim to change values and practices that shapes culture, social relations. For example, the investment made in family planning and what this implies about family structures. Types of initiatives less obviously concerned with culture, nevertheless, have impacts on the social relations that characterize a culture. For example, the possible impacts of an improved road network linking rural and urban areas. Importance of women in our society. Women who were the most dormant segment of population have now become active participants in all walks of life. Women are an important element in our society. Women can help the society in various ways. Young educated girls can get engaged in professions of her choice. They can contribute enormously in the field of healthcare. As a mother, her role in the development of the emotional psychological aspect of the newborn child has been also very significant. The woman is now an important instrument of social change. So, the role of women in community development. According to some sociologists, women make many of the decisions that determines a child's household's participations in the community, including healthcare, educational, and cultural decisions. Some sociologists also claim that the way women process information, prioritize, and plan may be highly beneficial to community development. Furthermore, some studies suggest that many women work better as collaborators and teammates, making them ideal candidates for community organizations, in which decisions must be made together. When women can be involved in the issues of women's education, rape and domestic violence, preventions, and economic opportunities, for women, they stand a greater chance of reducing inequality and promoting a fair society.